All right. Happy Tuesday. So we're talking on a Tuesday. I normally chat on Fridays, but we got a special guest on today that I'm really excited for everyone to meet on the Clear channel. Obviously, if you're new to the Clear channel, please subscribe. Our mission is to help change the world one leader at a time by bringing really amazing people onto the channel from all walks of life and all successful industries. So today I got my friend Peter on today. So fun story about Peter. We met on a flight, right?
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah,
And 1B on a flight back from LA to Detroit. So Peter, thanks for jumping on today. Do you mind just tell us about your business, obviously, and tell actually first we'll start with family life. You're from Michigan. Tell us about the family, and then we'll talk about business and things. And thanks so much for joining me
of
today.
course, of course. No, what a coincidence. We met on a flight. We actually live, near the same area too in Michigan, which is incredible. So, but yeah, born and raised in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, about 30 minutes from Detroit. Went to Detroit Country Day School, and then studied at Wayne State. But yeah, big Detroit sports fan for the most part, except for my NFL team. But it's been awesome to see what the Lions have done. That's a
Man,
separate story, but yeah, no, love Detroit, born and raised there. That's home. And then now, with my business and what I do, of course, there's a lot of traveling, but there's always a special home in Michigan for sure.
yeah, I love it. And man, what Detroit sports this last 30, 60 days has been crazy. The Tigers starting to do
Yeah,
well. Fortunately, I thought they were going to pull it off and make a run, but and of
what a
course,
great story the
yeah.
Tigers are. What an awesome run they had. So it was fun to watch, and especially for non-baseball focused fans to be able to watch the Tigers and after years of not being in the playoffs to finally get back there and then to have the type of run that they had, it captivated the whole city.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a big soccer guy, as we talked a little bit about. So I'm not often in the baseball world, but when the playoffs happen, as you know, I got a bunch of sales guys in the office here, and every morning it was something about the Tigers. Did you see
Yeah,
this?
for
The
sure.
home runs and things like that. But so tell me about family. So tell me about your upbringing. You obviously go to school here locally, went to school at Wayne State. Tell me about a bit of entrepreneurship in your family.
Yeah, of
Tell me about
course. Yeah, so I have one twin brother, Michael, and actually funny thing enough, we were actually born on my father's birthday, so we have the
No way.
same birthday as my dad, so all three of us, and it's just me and my brother in our family, and yeah, grew up really just my father, and it's always been part of our family, even from my grandparents, just extremely family rooted. So everything we do is together as a family, and even with how busy my father is traveling and with his business, he never forgets. Still to this day, just family comes first, and it's always the priority, no matter what's going on in the business world and in his business. And he started just an incredible business about 40 years ago in the oil and gas space. Um, Atlas Oil, and now nationwide oil and gas distributor, and many different other divisions within the energy industry. And then through that, like, as growing up as a kid around him, it felt like it's just contagious, the entrepreneurship that he has, and then has been, passed along down to myself. And anybody who really works with my dad understands, what it's like to work with an entrepreneur, because it is very different. And, the go mentality, and just how he approaches every day, and his take on opportunities, which is incredible. So yeah, I mean, summer times I would spend with my dad in the office, in meetings, whether it was just, or taking on certain projects that he wanted me to, very small things. But I think you can learn from even just small projects growing
Oh
up
yeah.
that then help you as you progress and as you move forward with your own career. And so yeah, whether small projects or big, I would learn a lot. And then just spending time in meetings with my dad, whether it was financial meetings, meeting new people, assessing opportunities when things were going well and when they weren't going well. there's tons of different learning that you can have in those types of settings that translate no matter the industry you're in, whether it's in energy or anything else. So growing up with my dad, it was one of those things where, like, you truthfully got an education separate from just school, which was being in the business, experienced in the business, just looking at things from an outside lens, not operating like my dad was, but at the same time just learning from the way that he approached different situations and how he tackled different situations.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any mantras that your dad taught you? I know I grew up in a immigrant family myself, my mom being Colombian. And she used to say things like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The lazy work twice. Like there's like certain mantras that I'm like, I go to, Jordan or nowadays Coach,
Yes. Yeah.
and I'd miss. She's like, yep, the lazy work twice. It just rings in my ears. Any mantras that you grew up around or?
Yeah, one particularly stands out. It's take your time but hurry up, which I love. So basically, if you think about it, completely contradicting, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you really, what my father really means is take your time to understand, what decisions have to be made and getting it right, and all the diligence that goes on behind making a decision. But then once you come to a place and once you kind of make the decision and once you have a good plan and a good strategy, then go, hurry up, get it done, make things happen, and don't wait on things because that's how businesses, even just seeing how transformation between Amazon and some of these other large businesses that came in and then took all the market share and really became incredibly successful. It came from an opportunity that others didn't take advantage of or weren't seen at the time, and
Right.
it really was them taking it, coming in, and then really finding that right market and that right opportunity. So I would say that's one that stands out.
I love it. I love it. Take your time, but hurry up. And it's so true, right? So it's like when you make a decision, that's the hardest part, I think, at times for people in business. They get
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of analysis paralysis. They like, should I? But if we make it,
And
it's
you
like
should, my
take.
dad always says too, like you should take your time to analyze, and you should take your time to do the proper diligence and making sure you understand, entirely what is to be done. But then once you've done all that work and all that understanding of what exactly, needs to be done, then don't wait, make a decision.
Make it happen. Yeah, it's action. Action
For
based
sure.
activity is always the best. And so obviously successful business, the business local here in Michigan, but has grown nationally, internationally. From what I read up a little bit about it, just curious, which is a really awesome story. Really, really awesome story. It makes I think you mentioned your dad's rooted in family. I'm no different. Family is everything. Um,
Yes.
to
Yeah,
make
truly.
decisions and impact it at the level he has and that you are now is pretty inspiring. So business goes well, and then my guess is you went to dad and said, "Hey, I got this idea," or was it vice versa?
Yeah, no, I can give more clarity to that. So it's really, my dad has always had a passion for sports as well. And him and I shared that passion when I was growing up. I mean, we would travel to events together, whether it was the Super Bowl, the Masters, even NBA games, NFL games. It was really like a shared bond that him and I had over sports, and growing up. I was always blessed, like a lot of children. They grow up and not sure what they want to do, and they want to tackle different things. And it's truly like, learn and then kind of and you'll figure it out from there. But for me, it was always sports. So I always knew whether it was with my dad or with a team or with a league or even just in the industry as a whole, I wanted to work in the industry because that was kind of it drives me every day. Like, I just love sports. I love, the competitive aspect of the industry, that there's the, teams competing with one another, but even just like sports operations, business operations, two completely different divisions and realms, but together, both have to sync and operate well for the whole, team to be successful. So, I always love that. And just, my dad has a saying too, follow your passion, which is one of his keywords that he uses, which I really completely believe in. So growing up, yeah, always knew I wanted to work in sports. My dad has a passion for the industry as well, but in the last 10 to 15 years, he formed a holdings business, Simon Group Holdings. Rolled Atlas, our oil business, in there, and then started investing into different industries separate from oil and gas under Simon Group Holdings. And him and I have that shared passion for sports. And I went to Wayne State University, studied sports management, and then out of that, me and my dad both had a conversation, and he's been wanting to get into sports as well. And we decided at a time of great industry growth in sports, and you're seeing a lot of now, not only families, investing more into sports, but private equity firms, hedge funds, and kind of all different types of businesses now looking at sports investments because of the industry growth. So in saying all of that, we decided we were going to start our own sports investment firm, Simon Sports, and really look at kind of two investment theses: owning and operating teams, so investment into teams, and then two, investing in the future of sports, which we call like sports media, tech, emerging leagues, women's sports, kind of the growing realm of that whole arena. And yeah, and really on the team side of investing, we want to play an active role. So that's kind of our our thought is, everybody could use investment, of course, but like,
Sure.
we want to make sure that we're being smart with how we invest into teams, because like a Man United, Liverpool, those big Premier League clubs, but even looking at the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, like there's only so much that we can bring to the table for a club like the New York Yankees or for the Golden State Warriors. Like they've already are an established brand. But in staying with like with our hockey team in Halifax, that's in the CHL, which is the largest developmental league for NHL players. That's a team, great market, great fan base, but one that we can acquire outright and then have an active role in the growth of the team. And similar with Ipswich, serve on the board with my father, and even see this tremendous journey that they've been on to get promoted to the Premier League, and now to be in the Premier League, and to understand that there's still a lot of runway for growth and for success for the club. So really, that's like on the team side, we want to play an active role and we want to add value. So in saying that, we want to make sure that we're identifying the right markets with the right teams, and one that can be kind of in the growth stage, and one that we can add value. And then on the in the and then, as I said, investing in the future of sports. I mean, you can see the growth just in emerging leagues that are coming online and into the industry, and then even with the sports tech and media space, it feels like there's a new home run in that space every single year, with data analytics, and then even women's sports like the NWSL, volleyball, basketball as well in the WNBA. I mean, massive growth there. So really identifying these next big waves in sports is kind of our investing on the sports media tech side, and then really like within that too, really being opportunity agnostic. So not thinking so much on majority minority interests. I mean, we have both in our portfolio, but just really looking and assessing the opportunity to make sure they're the right ones.
Makes sense. I just read an article. My wife's parents live in Greenville, South Carolina, and I noticed that Ronaldinho is getting involved with one of the women's soccer teams down there. I don't know if
Yeah,
you.
actually, our head coach from for Halifax for the Mooseheads is actually from Greenville. Not from
Oh,
Greenville, sorry. He's from Vancouver, but just coached in Greenville the last couple of years, coached for their ECHL team. So that's awesome.
yeah, yeah. They literally just flew in this morning. I had to run and get up at the airport.
That's really cool.
We're hanging out
Good.
for. So from Michigan to the Premier League,
Yeah.
that's gonna
Yeah.
be like that experience, right? And you're in Halifax right now. You mentioned,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Here for the
Uh,
week.
and you're in your early to mid 20s. We talked about, and you're the president of this group, right?
Yeah, we're president of Simon Sports, but really just me and my dad together started it, and of course my dad has been, successful in other businesses, and then really looking at how we start something as a father and son together.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I've been really driven just to get involved in the sports industry, and then especially with Ipswich. I mean, we're not super far into our investment there, but seeing just the tremendous journey that the club has been on, and then
Yeah.
to get involved with some of the people that we've gotten involved with in that club has been incredible. So really looking forward to what's ahead there. Um, and yeah, I'm the president. My dad owns the firm, and then we have a good diligence process that we go through before we look at any new opportunities. And then we have some other really great partner firms that we like to work with on the deals that not only can bring capital, but can really add value, and they're good people
Yeah.
that we want to work with.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you, I mean, being a young guy, I started my first company at 22 years old myself. And, I remember, to be fair, people kind of questioned my ability and my mindset, understanding, experience. How do you overcome in some of those settings, right? I'm sure you're
Yeah,
around people that have, I don't know, 20, 30 years experience in that particular team or in that particular organization. Uh,
yeah,
how do you overcome some of those challenges for you just as a businessman?
yeah. No, that's a great point. I think I come from the mentality and an approach that no matter if you have 20, 30 years of experience, 50 years of experience, um, people have to see that you bring value to what you're trying to do. So if people find that when you deal with them, you build a relationship where they want to work with you, and they know that you're looking after them, and you're truly there for them. And then you bring value, like, man, this whatever this person's going to say, like, we should really consider that, or man, they have some really good ideas. We should find out more about what they're trying to listen to. I think no matter the age, no matter what room you're in, no matter what group you're a part of, if people know that you can add value and you bring value to the table, then you can overcome whatever years of experience you have in a certain industry, in whatever group you're in wherever you work. If you show that you add value, then people are going to want to listen, and not even listen, but really want to work with you and collaborate with you. So that's how I approach, like, the people that I work with, and partners, is really, they need to see that we bring value, and capital is one part of it, but it's also business strategy, and it's ideas, and it's
Sure.
ways that we're looking at the future, and things that we want to get done. And then it's really being part of the team. Like my dad has always said too, and I truly believe in it. It's like there's a difference between a leader and a boss. Like, a boss will tell somebody what to do, but a leader doesn't have to tell people what to do, because they have that personality, that charisma, where people want to follow them, no matter, and I truly believe that's something that people have inside of them if they're leaders, is really, like, have that mentality, you have that ability, you have that charisma, where people want to, they want to work with you. And I think that's so important. Is like, a boss is different. A boss can tell somebody what to do, but leaders truthfully have those special qualities where, like, people want to listen to what they have to say. And for me, is like, being a younger person, still kind of in the beginning stages of my career, it's really, how do I make people feel that I can add value? And if I can do that, then I truly believe, it'll allow me to be in rooms where, maybe I don't have the experience that others have, but they can see that I add value. And to that point too, like, there's an effort too that has to be there. Like, there's an effort to want to get things done. There's an effort to want to get better. And then there's people, like, you have to learn, truthfully, no matter how many years of experience you have, like, there's always more to learn. So even for me, like, even if I'm in a room, I want to learn from others. How can I learn from what this person has to say? Everybody has something different, of an expertise, and some way they can add value. And how do I understand where they're coming from, and how do I understand, how do I learn from them and what their expertise and their skill set is? And you do that through having a really, really humble personality too. You have to be extremely humble, and you have to listen to others, and understand that when you listen to others, you can gain a lot of knowledge from that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, you got a lot of wisdom for being relatively young in your career. And clearly, I think about my kids, right? My kids are running around in my office every so often, and they have a random off day of school or something. So I just bring them to the office. They sit in the meetings with me too. And I remember one time my son was in the back corner and he was playing on his iPad or something. And I said, "Hey, Brady, you should take out a notepad and listen to the meeting. You may learn something." And he turned around and he said, "Daddy, I'm always listening."
Love that.
I was
Love
like,
that. That's awesome.
"Okay, touche."
Love that.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah.
like, totally caught me off
Yeah,
guard. But that's the sense I get about you is, being around these people and business meetings and seeing how hard your dad works. And, there's an old saying, your action speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. And so what
mm,
I'm hearing from you is when you go into these different groups and these different meetings that, hey, you're putting in a lot of time before preparing, thinking, intentions. Hey, what is the result we want? That's what I heard from what you just said.
yeah.
Did I kind of hear you
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
You
And
didn't
look,
say.
I think every business has their own goal and they have their own target of where they want to grow to and get to. But then there's a strategy behind the goal, right? Where like, you
Right.
have to look at, if we want to get to X, well, there's a strategy that has to go on behind that in order to get there. So like I love those types of discussions no matter what business it is where is the competitive advantage that this business is taken versus others, and how do you position yourself, and who's responsible for what, and what is the goal. But like I said, I truly, I love sitting in whatever meetings, even if it's not in sports, which is my passion. Like you always have things to learn every single day, and I think there's a saying too: the day you stop learning is hopefully the day you're not on this earth anymore. So that's something I take to heart, which is you always have to learn.
Yeah, I have
Keep
a
learning.
mentor. I have a mentor of mine that says you have to be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all.
Yeah,
And he's
for sure.
he's done very very well in business. Um, I know we don't have too much more time to get lunch with the staff there in Halifax, but I'm just curious. So what are the goals now? Right? Obviously, we got a chance to meet. I saw you reading a book there, and you're. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
love
reminds me
reading too. Reading is one of my yeah, reading is one of my things I love to do too. I think there's a lot of learning there too. Talk about
sure.
learning, of course, reading and and learning about business successes, and even not just business successes, but in life in general. There's other things separate from business, like your personal life, and even just how you approach people and personalities and deal with others that you can learn, from reading as well and understanding different personality types. No, really, like right now, and where we are at with our current portfolio, it's really my dad and I are not really looking at the next opportunity. We have a lot to
A
get
lot on
done
the
with.
plate right now,
Yeah,
right?
we have a lot on the plate, and we have a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish. And as I said, part of our investment thesis is each one of these, investments in businesses has a runway for growth that we believe is endless. So we need to make sure that we're taking a year at a time and making sure that we're there for the people that we work with, and that's extremely important. But now, because of our visibility in the market and in the industry, there's opportunities that come along that we're considering that will be ones that we look at more closely. But it's not like we used to be when we first started, where we're looking kind of for that next opportunity or for that first opportunity. Now
Sure.
it's really just if one comes along, then great. But if not, we have a lot to get done with what we currently have. So
Right. And what's a win with with the team in England, and what's the win with the team in Halifax? What does that look like?
the team in England, I know I speak on behalf of all the ownership group, but I think now that the club is in the Premier League, it's making sure we do everything possible,
It's our
to
climate.
to retain and our status and then and then to really continue what has gotten them to where they are, which is a really specific model that our CEO Mark, who's Mark Ashton is a talk about somebody you can learn from. Anybody can learn from Mark. He's an incredible CEO, but really just continuing his model and really making sure that we're there to support him as an ownership group, and really the fan base continuing to relish in the success that the club has had, which has been amazing to see. For Halifax, we have when we bought the franchise, we had a roadmap for growth on what that looked like, and we've been kind of tackling it year by year,
Mhm.
and kind of continuing to see continue to see that come to light and hopefully succeed there, which will be awesome. I mean, we're still, tackling many different things. And then for some of our other businesses that are more passive, those are maybe ones that are sold in a couple of years. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there, but each one of them we took extensive diligence time in, and some of them will exit maybe in 3 to 5 years, which would be nice to see. Hopefully, they're as successful as some of our other deals and some of the other investments that we've made.
Love it. Love it, love it. Any final thoughts for anyone that's going to join us on the channel, or anything that you'd like to share with the
So
audience?
I will say I'd
Thanks so
love
much.
for
I
people
really
to tune
appreciate it.
in. I'd love for people to tune in both to Moosehead's games, CHL app on the App Store. We're very blessed to have a great franchise in the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, and we have an exciting team, but a great market, great city, a great arena. And then also tune into to Ipswich Town games. So either
I've
on the
been, I've
Peacock
been, I've
app.
been
Okay,
texting you,
good,
right?
good. Either on the Peacock, yes, you have, in the Peacock app, or sometimes they're televised nationally and
Yep.
internationally. So I would tune into the games there as well. So yeah, just continue to do that. And thanks for having me on, Ken. And
My
and
pleasure.
this is what I'm talking about. You never know in life too. You can meet people. You can meet, you can meet a wife. You can meet your best friend and in settings and places and even at times you never would think. So
Yep. My pleasure. And hang tight real quick as we wrap up. But thank you so much, Peter. Obviously, such a pleasure. And you can tell that, the family values come out in how you speak. And that's the most, to me, as a business guy, that's one of the most attractive things about people is being around, to your point, amazing people. So thanks again for being on. And everyone, again, that's joined us today, they'll be loading on the Clear channel. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.